Brought to you by Southern Trust Home Services, 540-208-3425. Get into a Southern state of mind. Brought to you by Southern Trust. And hey there, good morning. I'm meteorologist Jamey Singleton, 8:47 on a Sunday morning, the 20th of October, 2019. How'd you like it rain last night? And already falling out there right now. Unless you're in the mountains, it's tapered off a little bit, but a lot of areas seeing well over an inch of rain. Some areas right at an inch, but most areas I think are over an inch, and we've actually seen amounts over 2 inches in some areas, and it's actually still coming down right now. We're going to see this continue probably for the next 2 or 3 hours, and then things will kind of slowly clear out for the afternoon, and we should see the sunshine by the afternoon. The winds will be picking up there as well, especially east of the mountains. Here's the Southern Trust radar. We show you right now what's going on. You can see kind of a spin here. Now listen, this is not Nestor. This is not a spin that's associated with the tropical system. This is a spin that's associated with a short wave in the jet stream. And I've been talking about this for about 4 days. The jet stream is what's doing it for us. And that's what brought us the rainfall last night. It's what's bringing us the rainfall right now. I'm looking at my weather station right now in Redwood in Franklin County. I've got a northeast wind at 3. 1.64 inches of rain, about the same amount there at my house as well, but some areas again nearing in on 2.5 inches. Most of the rain overnight last night fell in the mountains of the Mountain Empire actually, and if you remember, a lot of the modeling had all of the rain. With the exception of just a few showers in the mountains, most of the rain east of the mountains. But as I told you, that probably wouldn't happen because of the jet stream pulling this north. What you're seeing on the radar, 2 different levels. Notice how if you go across, let's see, Craig County and the Bland County, it's the rainfall is lighter and it's coming in from the northeast. See that? And then if you go across Roanoke and Bedford and Lynchburg, it's still coming in out of the southwest. The southwest movement is from the mid-levels of the atmosphere, and the lower levels are still pulling in that moisture below. So you kind of you got this going on in a way, and I'll show you that in just a second. But it's raining to beat the band still in Halifax and Chase City out toward Charlotte Courthouse. Some fairly moderate to heavy rain around Blackstone, heading down Route 40. And if you go into Bedford as well, it's still raining. Still raining in Franklin County as well, although it's beginning to lighten up a bit. Again, it may take its time doing so as we see some of this wrap around at the lower levels, and as you continue north into Rockbridge County, Augusta County, Lexington, the Stanton, Waynesboro, Charlottesville, Livingston, Amherst, and Lynchburg and Campbell County, also seeing some light to moderate rain. So again, if you're heading out to Sunday school this morning, you do want to be very wary that the road's going to be wet. There are a few low spots that have some ponding of water, but overall this has been some much needed rainfall. But again, I emphasize it was a lot of areas more than a lot of the modeling was showing. Even up to last night and this morning, some areas got a little bit less, but you know what? I'll take that as a victory in forecasting, victory in meteorology. How about that? Because that's how it works. I want to show you the water vapor, and this shows you at the mid-levels what's going on. You can see all the moisture here. It's moving into Pennsylvania. Some severe weather earlier in Eastern Carolina, and if you move down across Florida, I mentioned this yesterday, we did have some severe weather there. You see all that dry air in the yellow? That's all very, very dry air swooshing in behind this system. So we can get the low-level moisture out of here, and I think the clouds will lift today. We are going to see a sunny afternoon. We're going to see the sun break out by around lunchtime. 2 inches in Stanton as of 7:30, and still raining. Thank you, sir. I just got a report there on Instagram. pretty cool. Well, let's make sure I'm still broadcasting that. Screen just went blurry. Okay, there we go. I was trying to wave at some folks, but again, I don't have my phone. Anyway, you can see all the moisture. It's heading off to the northeast. So the trend is going to be from southwest to northeast for that drying to occur. We're already seeing the rain ending and crossing NRV, but again, it's still raining 2 inches or more through a good part of central Virginia. And if you are watching from D.C. and the Richmond, you still have quite a bit of rainfall still to come throughout the morning and early afternoon. But for the immediate southwest and south central Virginia area, this area right here that we cover with Southern Trust, looking at it probably ending by around lunchtime today. I want to show you what's going on here on WSV3. And I've got the winds at the surface plotted for you. You can see the circulation. Now, if there is a Nestor or a remnant of Nestor, a remnant low, it's right here near Bennettsville, Florence, South Carolina. You can see that warm front extending out from it, and then a cold front, so it's not purely tropical. This is a extra tropical low, basically. But you can see the winds coming in out of the northeast here. I show you that because this is where the low is, and this is not over our area. Again, I emphasize this is not the remnants of Nestor. This is associated with the remnants of Nestor. And I'll put on the data aloft, and you can see the winds will follow these contours here, but you can see that dip right here over southwest Virginia. That's at the mid-levels. That's why you saw that dry air moving in from the west. So this is what's causing everything. And if you look at the wind aloft, I don't think I can go above that on this particular map, but you can definitely get the idea that, let's see, get back to my heights here. This is more of a mid-level circulation that's causing the rainfall across our area. So let me put on something here for you. I'll take this back off. Winds are not too bad. We're going to look at some winds maybe filling in a little bit more. Let me show you the wind gusting right now. It's pretty gusty outside in Franklin County when I moved from the car to inside here, but 24-mile-an-hour gusts in Lynchburg, 18-mile-per-hour gusts in Danville and into the Eden, North Carolina area, Greensboro at 22 miles an hour. These are gusts. Richmond at 26 miles per hour. When you get a tropical system that decays like this and becomes extra tropical, you don't see as much wind in terms of intensity, but it spreads out more. So we are going to see a breezy day, at least for the early afternoon, and the potential for some severe weather, especially in southeastern parts of Virginia. Let me put that on here for you too. We'll put the Storm Prediction Center on here. Let's see. Let me go to my SPC, Convective Outlook, and turn on day one and see if that pops up here for you. And it may not, but it's the southeast part of Virginia that we're looking at maybe some severe weather here coming up over the next several hours, and that would be from Virginia Beach to Richmond to South Hill. This little area right through here is what we're looking at there. And I'll pop that up here for you in just a second. So let's pop up some other stuff. I don't want to keep this too busy, but these are the wind gusts off the HRRR today. And again, it's already kind of breezy out there now, but as the system pulls away, and again, it's extra tropical now, it moves off the coast, and our winds will subside later this afternoon and evening, but they will begin to increase, I think, from now. As the rain ends, the winds will actually begin to increase from now into the mid to late afternoon, gusting up to about 30 miles per hour or so, which you can see here on the radar, future radar. That's precipitation. Let me go to, it's been a long night. I've had some leg pain the past 2 nights, and has not been good. So there you see the rain moving out. This is by noon or so, in the 1, 2 o'clock, it's already out of here. It's still kind of lingering in eastern Virginia and the extratropical low moving out. You can see hints of another storm system off to the west that'll be moving back into the area. Now again, I mentioned this is the surface low pressure system that we're seeing right now in North Carolina and the swirl around that. If we were to, let me take the radar off. If we were to go again aloft, and I want to show you the winds, you can see those winds. This is where the wind is coming from. You can see all the high levels of moisture out ahead of this dip that has moved out of Bristol and is now just moving into Floyd and Franklin County. So that's going to end the heavier rainfall as it moves from west to east. This siphoned the moisture from below. Okay, so you had surface low down here that siphoned the moisture north. And if you were to look up to, and this is all on my Twitter, if you were to look up to about 300 millibars, which is pretty high in the atmosphere, you see all this purple right here in pink. This is where the winds are diverging aloft, and this is why we had that rainfall event overnight last night. Not because really of Nestor, it was because Nestor was nearby, but this is what pulled a lot of that moisture into the area. So a little bit of wind shear over southeast Virginia. I mentioned I talk about this a little bit. If you go into the next 4 to 6 hours, it moves near Richmond. And with any decaying tropical system, you do have to watch a little bit for the possibility of severe storms and damaging winds and maybe a spin-up tornado. But that's primarily going to be southeast part of Virginia, maybe up to Richmond in the Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads during the day today. But below all of this, we still do have an easterly component to the wind right now. A lot of moisture in the air. This is if you wrung out all the moisture in the air, you can see up to 1 to 2 inches of capable moisture, because even though it's not a tropical system, it still has the tropical air mass out ahead of it. But once we get into this drier air out here in Kentucky, we'll start to see things wind down ahead of our next storm system by the time we go into late Monday into Tuesday, and that one could have some severe weather with it. I did want to kind of show you this. This is the National Weather Service iFlows, and we've got some 2-inch plus amounts. Let's see if I can get this to show up a little bit better for you on your screen here. There we go. Do you see these red dots here? This is where we've got 28 gauges within 90% of flash flooding, believe it or not. And that includes the Roanoke-Montgomery County area, where we had a lot of rainfall overnight last night into this morning. And again, it's still raining lightly. But if you look at just, for example, the North Fork of the Roanoke River, and I pull that up here, 2.48 inches of rain over the past 24 hours. That is fairly significant. And if you were to look at the 24-hour rainfall amounts, I'll pop that up for you here. Let's see. So many options to show you. These are a little bit underdone. Gives you an idea, though. We've got some 2.2 inch amounts in parts of the area, up to 2 inches in southeast Franklin County, Henry County. For the race today, I believe it's in Martinsville. I think you're going to be okay, but may have to dry the track off a little bit. But some 2-inch amounts in here, and then in between, you're looking at 1 to 2 inch amounts. I don't think anybody got to 3 inches, but we certainly saw more than an inch, and we certainly saw that farther west than again. We were thinking maybe earlier. So, definitely a good soaker across the area. And again, we'll take it because we kind of need that moisture. But again, we've got a little bit of high water out there in the low spots out there as the rain continues to move out. So what is next? What is next? We are entering still a stormy pattern. I want to show you, just end it with this. This is from the Weather Prediction Center. So this is later on today. You can see the low moving out to sea. High pressure builds in later tonight into Monday. May have some lingering morning clouds Monday. I think the afternoon sunny. Look what happens Monday night. Look at this big low here that's going to occlude. That means the colder air catches up with itself, but it brings in a lot of moisture. It taps the Gulf of Mexico once again. This will not be tropical at all in nature, but it could be severe in nature, believe it or not. So we've got the red here shaded where the Storm Prediction Center and the Blacksburg National Weather Service office watching for the potential for severe storms and heavy rainfall Monday night into early Tuesday. And then, so that's something to watch, maybe another inch or two of rain. And then as you go into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, here comes another low out of the south. Now, they don't draw the rain 7 days out, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist or a meteorologist to figure out if you got a low coming out of the Gulf, that's probably going to bring you some more rain into next week. So it is an active pattern. We have 2 more systems, one coming up after today on Monday night into early Tuesday, another one coming up for you a week from today for next weekend. So goodbye drought, or at least goodbye for a good part of the drought. Now, a lot of the burn bans are still in effect, so just assume they're still in effect until you hear otherwise, because they will cite you for that. But we are definitely edging away at the drought very quickly. Some areas had over 2 inches of rain overnight last night, as we were telling you about there. And there's one final look at the radar. You can see just some drizzle and light rain across the area. Put it in the motion for you one more time. You can see a little swirl here. Again, that's not Nestor, that's the jet stream energy, but it's still pulling some heavy rain or some moderate rain up the 81 corridor. So if you're going to be traveling up that way, watch out. Let's go into Martinsville here. I believe we got the race today. You can see things are clearing out there, or trying to anyway, but it's a misty morning at 51 degrees in a northeast surface wind. Aloft, the rain is moving out though, and I think we'll see some sunshine a little bit later on. Central Virginia now is going to be the target for the moderate rain over the next couple of hours, as the winds continue again to increase up to 20 to 30 miles an hour gusting out there. That's your weather update for today. I'm going to go home and try to get some sleep now that my legs aren't hurting as bad. And I'll be back here for you during the work week to give you more updates on the upcoming system for Monday night, and again for the weekend coming up next week.